Pokemon being possibly the most recognizable series on the face of the earth, there's no doubt you know who Ash Ketchum is. The 10-year-old from Pallet Town that's given Pikachu as his first Pokemon after oversleeping at the trainer orientation, that then goes on his grand adventure to be the very best like no one ever was, and to catch them all. And with that grand adventure having come to a close after 25 years, with Ash finally becoming the world champion, it's only right that we take a look at all of the fits that he rocked along the way and ranked them. From Z tier being the most iconic of his fits, to F tier being the forgettable and ugliest of his fits. Keep in mind, this list only includes those from his journeys in Kanto and Johto, and if you'd like me to do the other regions, be sure to like and subscribe. Now let's get into it. Okay, starting off strong, we have one of the first outfits that we see Ash ever wear, which is him in his pajamas. He shows up late the night before. He's thinking about which Pokemon he's gonna ask Professor Oak for. He's going between Squirtle, Charmander, and Bulbasaur. You guys know the classic debate. Let me know which one you guys would pick. But he's late and he doesn't get any of those, and luckily Professor Oak still has one Pokemon left for him, which is Pikachu. And you know, it's all weird when they first interact with each other because Pikachu doesn't trust Ash, and you know, Ash doesn't respect Pikachu because he looks at him as like the leftover Pokemon. But I actually don't know how many fans knew that this is what he wears in the very first episode. His pajama fit, even though it is the very first fit that we see, it really is just pajamas, you know what I'm saying? It's not really anything crazy, it's not really drip, he doesn't even have his hat on. I would put this one into B tier. I'm very neutral to it. His OG fit. This one's easy to rank. I think no one's gonna disagree if I put this one all the way in Z tier for being absolutely iconic. Hat forward, hat backwards, doesn't matter which variation of it is. You already know when he puts it backwards though, that means he's locked in. But either way, I think it deserves to go up into Z tier, and I don't think anyone's gonna really disagree with me on that. Keep in mind, all of the fits on this list are either from Kanto or Johto, so anything from Gen 3, Gen 4, and beyond aren't included on this list. But if you do want me to rank those, we have done the research for all of the generations of every Ash fit. We're just going by region because this list is already stupidly long, and we want to make sure that we're segmenting it, you know, in order of when they were released, rather than, you know, just confusing the heck out of you by putting it all in one list. So be sure to like the video, be sure to comment down below if you want us to do the next variations of Ash's fits. That means Ruby and Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, Sun and Moon, and everything beyond that. And then we have the OG fit with no hat. This one is still good. It's still that iconic blue and white outfit that he wears in the first season, but without the hat, he can't lock in. He can't turn the cab backwards. How's he gonna lock in? Still an iconic fit, but I'd put it into S tier. The OG fit with pink gloves. He wears the pink gloves in the opening episode once he swaps from his pajamas to his actual OG outfit that we see throughout the season. Pikachu is electric, and Ash's mom packs his bag full of stuff that he might need along the journey. I think she packs those gloves for when he washes dishes or something, but Ash takes them out to use to handle Pikachu because Pikachu is just an electric Pokemon that's like shocking everybody, and you know, he's out of control and he doesn't respect Ash, and so he's kind of just doing his own thing in the opening episode because the two don't respect each other, like I said. This one is literally just him wearing some pink gloves, so I put it into B tier. I'm very neutral to this one. Next up, we have the black suit and tie. This tier list, and you're going to see this as I continue going, I'm gonna explain as many of these fits as I can. This tier list is full of just like 2-second cutaway gags where the character is drawn and in like a slightly different outfit, where a character will say something funny and there will be like the little imagination bubble of them, you know, imagining the scenario, and all the characters are dressed in like a different way. We found every single one of them for the Kanto and Johto region, and there are a lot of them. There are so many little moments that are just little cutaway gags where a character's like, I don't know, just dressed in like a suit, or as Gligar, or as a Slowpoke, or just whatever. Like, there's so many different little cutaway gags, and I'll explain as many of them as I can. This one in particular, long story short, Ash and the entire gang are, you know, they're locked in some cavern, like, you know, the rocks fall down, and, you know, there's like a girl that's accompanying them in the plot of the episode that's happening, and she has a Zubat, and Brock has a Zubat. Brock sees his Zubat with, like, the female character that is alongside them during the episode, and Brock, because he's just, like, the horny bastard that he is, he looks over at the two Zubats, one owned by him and the other is owned by a character named Anna, and he's like, I wonder if you and I could have as much synergy as our two Zubats. And so he has this entire fantasy for like half a second where he imagines him and Anna getting married, and Ash is in a tuxedo and everybody's, you know, attending his wedding. It's crazy because this is a cutaway gag, but it has an entirely new fit for Ash that we literally do not see throughout the rest of the series, but it appears in this like 2-second cutaway gag of Brock imagining his own wedding with this character just because he saw his Zubat and her Zubat, you know, mingling thing together for like 2 seconds. Honestly though, I think Tuxedo Ash is kind of drip. I think I'd put this up into S tier. The OG blue raincoat. Obviously, this is just Ash wearing a raincoat because it's raining in one of the episodes. There's not really anything I'm going to touch on specifically for the plot with this one, but I actually do like the colors on this one and how they match with his pants. I would put this one up into A tier. The blue yukata. This one is from the episode The Ghost of Maiden's Peak, and this outfit appears while they're in search of Saffron City. They stop in like a little midway town, and there's a festival going on, and the entire gang decide to participate, and Ash wears a blue yukata, and that's really all it is. And then I think he takes it off very, very quickly into the episode, but it is cool to see, but he doesn't have his hat, and so I think I would probably put it around A tier where the raincoat is as well. COVID. This is Ash wearing a face mask in episode 241, which is called Whichever Way the Wind Blows, and there's a bunch of grass Pokemon fighting. There's a guy named Steven trying to figure out why the grass Pokemon are fighting, and the grass Pokemon put their stun spore in the air, and so Steven gives them the face masks so they don't breathe it in, and that's really the extent of what happens. It is really funny to see this gag though, I mean, especially given all the circumstances that we've all been through, right? But I think I put the COVID mask up into A tier as well. It's just him in the OG fit, but he's wearing the face mask. I would probably be indifferent to it if there were not context to it, in the same way that I'd be indifferent to it with the pink gloves. The little boost from context makes me want to bump it up just a little bit. Then we have Ash in a cow suit. This one is from episode 4, which is called Challenge of the Samurai. While Ash and Misty are in the Viridian Forest, she screams because she sees another bug Pokemon, and Ash literally goes, "Oh, do you think it's a cow turpy?" And that's literally the gag. There are no cows in Pokemon, but I guess Ash was just making up mythical creatures known as cows in the Pokemon universe. I think the gag is really, really dumb, but I also have to commend Pokemon for just being dumb in the way that it is, because it really is one of the only series that just takes those like dad jokes and just goes with them. It does not care. I can't put it in S tier, but I think I'd give the cow suit a high A tier, and like probably the highest one we have so far. And then we have Gliga Man, which is from episode 140, which is known as the Superhero Secret. There is a guy who's running a store, and to like promote his business, he dresses up as a Gligar, and he also has a Gligar counterpart. And when Ash sees this, he's like, what if this were me? That's the gag. That's why he dresses up like this for like half a second. Pokemon just doesn't care. It's just like, we're gonna make a joke out of everything because we're just doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I think rewatching Pokemon has really been endearing because of all of the little gags that happen. As far as where I'd rank this fit, I don't think it's quite an F tier, but it's bordering on that. I think I would put this one into C just because that thing is ugly. Then we have Ash dressed as Mr. Mime. This comes from episode 64 of the original Pokemon series, which is titled Mr. Mime Time. In this episode, Ash and gang are headed back to Pallet Town, where they run into a Mr. Mime, so Ash dresses up as a Mr. Mime to try to lure that Mr. Mime back to wherever it's supposed to be. Long story short, that Mr. Mime ends up being the one that hangs out with Ash's mom like all the time, so whenever you see like the Pokemon movies or cutbacks to Pallet Town throughout the series, that's kind of what's going on. That's the Mr. Mime, and like that's the origin. As far as this being ranked as a fit, it's just Ash in a Mr. Mime costume, so it's not really anything crazy. It really isn't like him as Gliga Man, where it's not like a Gligar, but it's like a really crappy version of Gligar. So I'm kind of neutral to this because it literally is like a one-to-one version of Mr. Mime. So I think I'd put this one into B tier. And then we have Ash dressed as Octillery. This is from episode 217, which is titled Octillery the Outcast. In this episode, there's a guy who has a bunch of Remoraid. In a battle, one of his Remoraid evolves into an Octillery, and he tries bringing it back to all of his other Remoraid, and all the other Remoraid are like, I don't like you because you evolved. And so Misty is like, okay, Ash, why don't you put on an Octillery disguise and see if you can befriend the Octillery? It makes no sense because it's Pokemon and they love just doing whatever. And if I were to rank Ash dressed as an Octillery for whatever reason, I think I would probably put it up there with the Mr. Mime outfit, just because it's just a Pokemon disguise. And also, like, I think it's kind of an insult to the Octillery he's trying to befriend if he's got this gaping hole in the front of it that just, you know, reveals his eyes. Like, how dumb do you think the Pokemon is, man? Come on. And then we have Ash dressed as a Slowpoke. This happens in episode 144 of Pokemon, which is titled Shadow of a Drought. And Ash and the gang, they enter Azalea Town. They have the GS ball that they're trying to deliver to Kurt. And then all of the town gets in an uproar and they're like, how could you do that? And then a Slowpoke starts talking to Ash and the gang as they're running away from the townspeople that tells them to, you know, get into disguise, so they all hide and disguise as slowpokes, and that's kind of what happens here. And the guy who tells them that, or the slowpoke that tells them to do that, is Kurt, the guy that they're originally there for anyway. This disguise is very similar to all the other ones that we've seen where they're all just Pokemon dress-ups, and I think I'd put this one into B tier as well. I think the cow one went a little bit higher because there are no cows in Pokemon, right? But the ones that are actual Pokemon, I think I'm about neutral to. Then we have Ash dressed as a king. This happens in episode 257, which is titled Why Not? And they take Ash's jacket off, stealing his badges, and Jesse and everybody, they put Ash in like this king outfit, and they're taking pictures of him, and they're like pretending to interview him just so they can get his badges. I think he looks damn good as a king, dude. I think that one goes up there in S tier. That's a pretty good look for him, I'll be real. From this point, he may not be an actual champion for like several dozens of more seasons, but at least, you know, he's prepared, he's rocking the fit now. Ash disguised as an apple. This is like one of the last disguise looks that we have, I'm pretty sure, but he's dressed as an apple in an episode called Food Fight, and you can probably guess what that episode's about just given the context that I've given you so far. As far as where I'd rank this, it's a gag outfit and he's just in a big apple, so I'd probably put this one in C tier next to Gligar Man. And then we have Ash in the black shirt. Very similar to what I say in the Dragon Ball Z tier list. I think it also applies for Pokemon as well. I think the darker tones just work for most of the characters, and this is that black shirt that Ash is wearing underneath his jacket most of the time anyway. I think it's cool to see Ash in more casual outfits, and I think darker colors just kind of work better on most cartoon characters anyway. I would put this one up into S tier. Ash in a lab coat. So when I was first doing research for this, I thought this was Ash as like a Pokemon professor, but what actually happens is, in episode 47, A Chancy Operation, Pikachu is up in a tree, he finds an apple, he swallows it whole, which then like leaves Pikachu sounding kind of weak. He doesn't sound too good, so Brock suggests that they go and take him to a human hospital, which is the closest, and after some convincing, the doctor finally takes in Pikachu, and he makes all of the gang, you know, help out with all of the stuff that's going on in the hospital, which then makes them all don the lab coat that we all see him wearing here. As far as where I'd rank this, I think him in the lab coat's actually pretty sick. I'd put this one up into S tier near his black shirt look. And then we have Ash in the medieval outfit. This one appears in episode 162, which is titled Airtime. When the gang arrives in Goldenrod City, they go on this radio show where they do like this live broadcast explaining how, you know, Ash got his plane badge, which is like one of the recent badges he got up until this point. And then they participate in like this live show where it's like this whole medieval thing, and that's really why he's dressed like this. That's the whole point of why he's dressed like that. It's kind of just him wearing a little hat and, you know, like I guess like a little sash across his whole thing, and I guess he's still wearing the same colors that he usually does. There is, however, a version of this fit that comes around later on, but I think it's in like Diamond and Pearl, and it's way better. It has the same kind of hat, which is why I bring it up in comparison. Be sure to like the video if you want us to do the other versions of Ash's fits. I'd put the medieval fit up into A tier. Like I said, I like the hat. And then real quick, we got a speed round because all of these are just Ash in his trunks or pants or just whatever. And I'm gonna be real, I'd put all of these in the B tier just because I'm completely neutral to them and have no opinion on them whatsoever. All of them go into B tier, and I'm pretty safe and confident with saying that. And then we've got OG Ash in a Hollywood outfit. This is in the gang's imagination where they're all imagining themselves and what it would be like to be in Hollywood. This takes place in episode 72 of Pokemon, which is titled Go West, Young Meowth, and also is the episode where we get Meowth's backstory and like how he learned to talk. It's actually one of my favorite episodes of OG Pokemon, like of all time, because it has some really endearing lore to it. Like, I didn't think that I would care about Meowth while watching the show growing up, but then like looking back and seeing his backstory be kind of sad is kind of crazy. Like, I didn't think that I would be attached to that character. As far as where I'd rank this fit though, that's some drip. I gotta give it to him. It's up in S tier, but not quite up there with the black suit and tie, because at least with the black suit and tie, he still has his hat on, whereas in this one, he does not have his hat on. And then we've got Ash dressed in his military outfit. They got him. They sold him the dream of getting that Camaro and, you know, all of his college funds paid for. They got him, dude. Pokemon University ain't gonna pay for itself. This fit is from episode 220 of Pokemon, which is called Plant It Now, Diglett Later. As you see, there's a little pun with Diglett in there. Pokemon loves doing that with its episode titles. There are a bunch of people who feed them, and in return, they ask if they could help defeat the Marauders that are, like, you know, invading their village. And so in the little moment where they're kind of deciding what to do, they wear military gear as they, like, strategize. And that's kind of why they put this outfit on. It's just like a little gag. I do think it's very interesting, though, because if you know anything about Pokemon lore, there supposedly was a war in the actual Pokemon universe, but it's never really explored. And it's something that I always wanted to see, you know, actually fleshed out at some point. If you have any more information about that, please let me know in the comments, because I've always been super curious about what that was actually supposed to mean. Ash in the military fit, though, I like it enough to put it in A tier. And then we have Ash in the orange pattern shirt. This is what he wears during some of the episodes episodes of the Orange Island set of episodes during the Indigo League. It's just a white and orange shirt. It's cool, and it's a good fit. I don't really bat an eye when I look at it, like it's not hideous, but it definitely is nowhere close to his original outfit, and I think I would put this one into solid A tier. And then we have Ash in the red ninja outfit. This outfit is shown in episode 178, which is titled Ariados Amigos. It's supposed to be like a play on Adios Amigos. And in this episode, the gang is on their way to Fuchsia City, and they run into a girl that is teaching her Ariados how to do Pokemon Jiu-Jitsu. And so in the episode, Ash and the gang decide to go also learn Pokemon Jiu-Jitsu, and they wear these outfits as they participate in learning Pokemon Jiu-Jitsu. I actually really like the red ninja fit. I think I'd put this one up in S tier. Now that I've ranked a lot more of these, I actually want to change a couple of these. I think the black shirt with no hat look actually goes up into Z. That's a really, really good look. And I also want to put the lab coat look up into Z tier just in case literally anyone at Game Freak is watching, anyone at Pokemon is watching. Please make Ash a professor. And then we have Ash in the Team Rocket. This is from episode 37 titled Diglett's Mysterious Mansion. And in the episode, you know, you see the characters kind of swap back and forth from like each other's fits. And then you also see the Ditto transform into Ash's Pikachu. There's a bunch of stuff going on that's really amplifying the idea that Ditto can exactly copy something else. And that's, of course, influenced here with Ash wearing Team Rocket's outfit at some point in the episode. I think Ash pulls off the Team Rocket look really well, actually. I would put this one up into S, but like high S. It's cool seeing him dressed as the villain. And then, as I mentioned before, we have the character of Duplica, who is the character that I was just mentioning. She has the Ditto, and she's kind of reinforcing the idea that Ditto is the exact copy of whatever it's looking at, and so she dresses as Ash as well. And with that being said, I would put her into B tier, mainly because she's not Ash, but she is wearing the same outfit as he is, and I feel like it's worth mentioning on the tier list. Then we have Ash as a tennis player, and this happens in episode 110, which is titled Pokemon Double Trouble. In this, double battles are introduced and they're explained to Ash, and Tracy, who is a character that joins him in the Johto region, he explains that it's kind of similar to tennis, and so Ash has like a little vision of him as a tennis player, and that's exactly where this fit comes from. This one is kind of trash. I don't really like this fit that much compared to like everything else. I think I'd probably put this one into like C tier, just because it's like a white shirt and some, you know, blue shorts. It's really not anything crazy. Tennis outfits are really okay anyway. But then we have Ash in the orange suit. In this episode, they run into a magician who's kind of like failing at his job, and so they try to help him by putting on a Pokemon magic show, and the orange suit is shown in like a gag cutaway of them imagining themselves like on stage. And then the next outfit on the list is Ash as a snake charmer, where he's displaying his trick and he's doing whatever he's doing in this outfit as well. It all kind of takes place in the same episode. But the orange suit, I think this is really ugly, actually. I'm gonna put this one into C tier. It's just way too bright, you know what I'm saying? It's just way too bright. And then the snake charmer outfit, I think I'd put into C tier as well, mainly because, you know, the vest reminds me of Luffy, and I hate One Piece. The end. And then we've got the OG red jacket. It's just a snow coat that he's wearing. I don't really have any strong feelings against or toward this one, so I'd put it in like B tier. It's a cool looking outfit, but it's really just a coat. It's really not anything crazy. And then we have Ash in scuba gear. This is just him wearing a diving suit and oxygen tank. He's got like a little mask on, and that's really all it is. It's not really an outfit that I can rank based on drip, so I'd put this one into like B tier as well. It's very similar to him in like swim trunks. It's just like a utility fit, so it's not really anything crazy. And then we have Ash in the skull mask. This one appears for like literally 2 seconds when they're on their way to Lavender Town. Like he's trying to spook both Misty and Brock. It's kind of funny because it's just like a skull mask, and where did he get that? Like, I don't, it's just random that he has that. Also, this is not a Duskull, because Duskull has like one eye only, and this has 2 eyes in it, as you can see. I would put the skull mask up into S tier. It's a good little gag, and I also just like the fact that it exists. I don't know, it's just dumb. And then we have OG Young Ash. That is not drip. I know it's a little flashback, it's meant to be endearing, but that, my friend, is not drip. The yellow shirt with little overalls, dude, get out of my face. That goes in C tier. And then we've got the Gyoji uniform and the karate outfit. Both are from episode 53 titled The Perfect Hero, and it's literally a cutaway gag that appears for like 2 seconds where they're going into like this thing called Kids Day, and Misty's like, oh, I want to come, or something like that, and Ash and Brock are like, no, it's for real men only, for whatever reason. And it quite literally is as dumb as it sounds. Ash dons these 2 little outfits, you know, displaying what it's like to be a man for 2 seconds, and that's really all it is. I do think the Gyoji uniform is drip, so I think I'd put this one up into S, but for some reason when he shows the karate outfit, it's like a still frame of him just hitting a karate pose. For some reason in this one he's got a buzz cut. I don't know if that's his definition of being a real man, but as far as the karate outfit, I do like it enough to put it into A. And then we have Ashley. This is one of the most infamous episodes of OG Pokemon. It's episode 26 of the original series, titled Pokemon Sensation. In this episode, the gang arrives in Celadon City. They're being sold some perfume, and Ash is like, ew, I don't like this, which then results in him getting banned from the department store that he denies the perfume in, and also that city's gym, which is led by Erica. Because Ash is obviously trying to get the gym badge from the Celadon City gym leader, he has to get into the gym somehow, so he decides, with the help of Team Rocket, to disguise himself as a girl to then get in. Like I said, this was an episode that people talked about and still talk about a lot nowadays, especially because this is not the only time that Ash has ever cross-dressed. I will be real though, I do think Ash pulls off the look pretty well. I think most of the times when he cross-dresses, he's pretty convincing as a girl. I think I'd put this one up into S tier just because this is like one of the only episodes I could recall from memory when I was a kid. And finally, we have Dead. This happens in the first Pokemon movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. The clone version of Mew, which is Mewtwo, and the OG Mew have a big fight at the end of the movie, and he jumps into the middle of it as the beam clash goes in, and he's petrified to stone. And the only thing that brings Ash back to life is all of the tears and emotion that all of the Pokemon feel collectively, both the cloned versions and the original versions. All of them cry, and they bring Ash back to life, and he's no longer dead. I will not lie to you, this was one of the first times as a kid that I had ever cried to a movie because I was like, no, Ash can't be dead. It's a very emotional moment. I've got to be real. It's not really a fit for Ash, but I do have to say it is a great moment. It is a different look for him. I mean, he's made of stone now, so I mean, I don't know. I'd put Ash's death in the very first movie up into Z tier. It is an iconic moment in the Kanto region, and I don't think anyone can deny that. I think if you didn't feel anything when this happened, you might be a little heartless. And with that being said, that is every single Ash outfit in the Kanto region and Johto region ranked from Z tier all the way down to F tier. As always, let me know what you would change about my list. Let me know what you thought was correct or incorrect. And also, be sure to like the video if you want us to do the Diamond and Pearl version, the Ruby and Sapphire version of Ash's fits, all of the other variants that are out there. We have them all done and researched. Just let us know if you want to see it though. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching till the end of the video. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of this month's patrons. I really do appreciate your continued support. If you're looking for more content from me, you can always check out our second channel, Retrora Live. Hope to see you over there, and I'll see you next time.